I remember as a kid. So my Chickasaw roots come from my father, and it's through his mother, my grandmother, and she was adamant that we be aware of our Chickasaw identity, even though most of my family is not very identifiable Chickasaw. She was very adamant that we knew about that heritage and that it was a part of our life, and that our tribe. I remember her whenever someone was born in the family, she was adamant that we were enrolled members of the Chickasaw. It wasn't enough just to be Chickasaw. Yes, you're born, with the heritage that you have,
right.
But tribal membership is a political designation, and she made sure. And oftentimes, and we were like, "Why? What's the Now there's some tangible benefit to being Chickasaw for many people, but for her at the time, there really wasn't a tangible benefit. It was more of a heritage celebration. She knew that heritage, and she made sure that we as grandkids and kids did, even sometimes when we didn't, as kids we didn't see the importance of it. You didn't care. And then it was amazing as I got older to recognize how Chickasaw values were a part of my life more than I thought. How Chickasaw, even diet, some of the foods that we ate, I didn't know they were Chickasaw meals and dishes. I didn't know that they were I just thought they were my grandmother's deal. But I also had a unique experience. When I was in law school, the tribe was very helpful with scholarships for me. I mean, me and my wife, we couldn't have existed. We got married when I was in law school. We couldn't have existed without the support of the tribe. I mean, it made a difference. And then certainly when I was running for office, a lot of I had worked at the Chickasaw Nation, and a lot of the executive team and management team and frontline workers were a big part of my election and supporting me. And so when I got a chance to come work at the bank, when Governor Anatubby called me about coming to work here, and we had a conversation, after I got off the phone, the thing that went through my mind more than anything was, okay, this is the first opportunity where I can actually make a contribution back to the tribe. The tribe had given so much to me and been such a part. I've been such a benefactor of all of Governor Anatubby's wonderful leadership, that this was I felt like the first time where I could actually contribute something. And so to me, getting here and focusing on the bottom line and earning a dividend and paying that dividend to the tribe, or reinvesting back into the bank and growing the bank's market share, I do it as a proud Chickasaw citizen because it means so much more, because we're actually making a contribution. And by the way, the great part about that, I know that many people, sometimes that can feel exclusive because you're not a tribal member.
Right.
But the reality is, all of the benefit that comes from the Chickasaw Nation financially, it all gets reinvested back into the tribal government, which happens to be in Oklahoma. So the state benefits when the Chickasaw Nation does well. So it's an amazing opportunity. But again, for me, it's more than just earning a paycheck. I mean, it really is. It's like it's almost like the family business, It's like I know that if this bank does well and we make and even though on the grand scale of things, we're a small community bank, compared to WinStar or some of the other, amazing healthcare facilities, or, we're a real small contributor. But my goal, honestly, my personal goal is I want this bank to be the biggest contributor. I want us to contribute a bigger dividend than WinStar. We got a long way to go. But that is my goal, because I believe so much in the mission of building better lives for everyone and advancing the overall quality of life of the Chickasaw people. That's ingrained in me, and it's a privilege to sit in this seat and feel like you're making a difference.
Right. Yeah. And then, like you said, you go back to you had no idea why your grandma was putting this plate in front of you and what it meant, right? And now you do. And you're right, having that moment of wow, this is the first time I actually get to give back, and a lot of people don't get that opportunity, right? Or they might get that opportunity and it's in totally different ways. It might be just by volunteering or whatever it is, but it's really cool for you to just hear you speak about that, right? It's kind of like a hair on the back of your neck moment.
Sure. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. As a kid, I remember we were down. So my great-grandparents, who I got to know, they lived and they were Chickasaw. Their allotted lands, Chickasaw lands, we are still in the family, and we would go down every year. But this was a kid. They were actually, my great-grandparents were still living, but I was down with my grandmother grandmother, and I remember we were walking, and they still owned, I think they had still about 40 acres of the 160 that they were allotted. We were walking, and I remember her reaching down and picking up what I thought was grass and eating it. She just kind of wiped it off and was eating. And I thought, oh my gosh, I must have been like 7 or 8, and I thought, Grandma's losing her marbles. She's like eating grass. And I later learned that she was eating poke salad. She loved poke salad, and she loved raw vegetables. Anyway, poke salad, I don't know if you're familiar, it's a wild green.
Okay.
And it's a pretty popular Chickasaw dish that my grandmother would prepare.
Yeah.
I didn't like most kids. I didn't like green vegetables. I didn't know them. I thought she was just losing her marbles and eating grass. Come to find out, she liked poke salad. She liked it fresh. So we were out walking. She saw some. She wiped it off, and she would chew it and eat it and pick it. And it's those just kind of rare moments where you realize that was a very Chickasaw thing to do. Most people don't walk around eating raw poke salad, right? But it comes full circle later on when I'm reading about Chickasaw culture, and I get the calendar that we get every year from the Chickasaw Nation, and it lists the poke salad meal. Like, it took me back to that feel with my grandmother, and I'm thinking it was a very Chickasaw thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the time you're like, she's going nuts.
Yeah. That's right.
She's losing her mind.
That's right.
Like, I'm gonna tell your parents, like, Grandma's doing that thing again.
Now, in full disclosure, I got to be honest. I don't really like poke salad. It's kind of a bitter.
But that
green.
memory, though, it's special to you.
The
memory's super special.
And I try all the Chickasaw dishes. Some of them, pashofa. Some others, you just the grape dumplings I like.
Yeah.
But